All right, and we're live. Whoa. Hide. Let's go. Toucan's a type of bird. Oh, hey, how's it going, man? How you doing? Consider factor. Include count. Who the fuck is Dorothy Gibb? Sid, how's it going, man? How you doing? Milosh, how's it going? Hope, how's it going, guys? Toucan, zebra, unicorn. I would favor 5. I don't know what I was going for there. Don't ask me. Clownfish, zebra, tigers, like striped animals or something. That's just. Did you hear that Dr. is running for president? And how does that even work, Milosh? What? Spectral, how's it going, man? How the fuck does that work? Yeah, Sid, no. I know this timing works better for a lot of people. It's just that normally during this time I'm working. So, I can't stream during these times. But, I'm off work today, so it just works. Alright, fuck it. Gil, how's it going, man? How you doing? forehead. I don't know. I can't get this today. I don't know. Fuck me. Oh, I did it because it resets at like 7 p.m. Fridge. Chess, I guess. $7 For fuck's sake. Oh, God. Man. I know how time zones work, but still seeing it in action with so many people just being like, oh, it's like fucking all over is like, it's so fucking weird. I don't know, because like you hardly ever have like people from a shit ton of time zones in one place trying to coordinate something, so it feels so mind fucky. It's like, what is going on? Here. Why is Sunday stream privated? Sunday stream I don't think is. The one where I was really... Fucking stupid. Dumb. That was dumb. Wait. Well, I assume that's Dr. Z? Of course it's Dr. Z. Wait, DSV, when did you come? What the fuck? What do you mean? You just came to say hi earlier? Oh, piss off. Alright, no worries, man. Go do your stuff. Appreciate you popping by, buddy. Watch your Volume 6 video. How'd you like it, Dr. Z? What am I doing? What am I doing? It's good. That's good to hear. That is good to hear. Only took, oh, I don't know, fucking way too long. But hey, we got there. We got there eventually. You think it was over-edited playing? I'm pretty cooked. Hold on. Fine. It is not fine. I'm absolute. We're talking. Okay, shut up. Here. If he takes with this, then I take this. Comes over here, then I take. Comes down, then I take with this. If he comes, the best thing to do here is to come down so that I take and then he takes, but then if he takes, I take. So he doesn't really have great moves here. Now if you go take with this, I'm hoping he doesn't see it. Oh, he's gonna try and... Oh, he's gonna try to battery me. He fucking... How many chapters you did? I think probably 6 or whatever the hell's in the title. Come back here. Eight? Alright, no fuck it, we'll do that. Get fucking rolled, buddy boy! Let's go! While reading chat, discussing the Volume 6 video, and down like an entire fucking rook. Oh god. You nailed him. Whew. Damn, buddy, you should never play chess again. Yeah, fucking roll. I'm sorry. I say that, but that happens to me like every other shift, so every other stream, so I'm not the right person to judge him too harshly about that. Alright, what chapter are we starting? Can someone tell me what's in the fucking title? I don't know. 55 we finished on, so we're doing 56. Fantastic. Really? Hope, just let me have this. God damn it, motherfucker. Damn, that guy is gonna be fucking breaking his computer. Add me. Out of nowhere. The spirit of Bobby Fischer entered my body, and it was over. Can we stop on 67? I mean, maybe. We'll be able to, I think. Okay. 56. Intuition. The more Aurora ruminated on the matter, the more his suspicions intensified. How could the powerless Guillaume possibly subdue the mighty Pierre Barry, who possessed no less than supernatural abilities? Oh, true. Actually, let's change the title. You are right. There we go. Done. Adam just finished Volume 6. He's in a coma? Jesus Christ, alright. If the Padre were indeed favored by the clandestine forces to the extent that his clique considered him the leader, he would have been bestowed with a boon long ago and elevated above the common masses. Should he decline the boon, he would face ostracism. In these circumstances, his standing authority and machinations paled in comparison to his might or the gulf that separated him from divinity. Aurora lacked the luxury of time to ponder this and could only conceive of two plausible explanations. Either Guillaume Benet was not the true leader of the small group and was merely exploiting his status to orchestrate and conceal the anomaly from the EBS Church, or he was not rejecting the moon but merely biding his time to gain greater power. Neither explanation bode very well. Aurora directed her gaze at the three sheeps, and inquired, "Who was the man that accompanied Pierre in his assault on you?" The three sheep scribbled down, "Niort Best, a shepherd named Niort. He goes by the name Niort. Niort Best, too, has achieved extraordinary powers." Music's a little loud. Niort Best, too, has achieved extraordinary power? Aurora knew of this person in question. Niort was a fellow shepherd from Cordoue who frequently grazed his flock alongside Pierre, and he had seemingly not returned early this time. "Where is Niort? I did not spot him in the village," Aurora asked. The three sheep moved a few steps away and found a new patch of unmarked soil on which to write. "He's dead. I killed him. We took him out, but we were apprehended." "All of you are Beyonders?" Aurora asked. And the three sheep ceased riding Highlander with their hooves and nodded. Aurora acknowledged them tersely as she raced to process the implications. Pierre and Niort were hunting Beyonders. What's their motive? One of them is dead. Either Niort's abilities paled in comparison to Pierre's, or he had acquired their powers through a boon and were far more proficient in wielding them. It was certain that the Beyonder battles would encounter complications. "Do you know why Pierre captured you?" Aurora asked. "I have heard him speak of God and devotion. It may be for a blood sacrifice." I suspect he wishes to offer us as a sacrifice to an evil god. Indeed, Beyonders possess remarkably high spirituality and unique characteristics, far superior to ordinary mortals as sacrificial offerings, and they can appease malevolent gods more effectively. Pierre and Niort were using grazing sheep as an excuse to abduct Beyonders from other countries to sacrifice them. It is a scheme that easily evades the local authorities' notice. Did Pierre mention the honorific name of that god? Or rather, who were they praying to during the ritual that transformed you into sheep? The three sheep were taken aback, as if they were awash in recollections. Suddenly, they lowered their heads and extended their hooves towards the soil before them. For some inexplicable reason, Aurore felt that the temperature had plummeted and the sun had been obscured by dark clouds. The three sheep began riding. Aurore's intuition sounded a powerful alarm as she said, "Hold on." The three sheep all lifted their head, and at some point blood-red tears had swelled up in their eyes and their fur was stained and ghastly. In the next moment, they continued to ride. Aurore whirled around them and dashed to the fence. As she exited the pen and looked back, the three sheep were bathed in sunlight. If not for the bloodstains on their face, everything seemed okay. Aurore's heart pounded. She breathed a sigh of relief. If I had not learned to seal my sight and glimpse things I should not have seen, I would not have reacted in time. She produced a vial of iron-black powder and scattered it over the sheep pen. I will say, the writing in COI doesn't feel as... I don't know, maybe detailed's not the right word, but I feel like I remember Volume 1 of Lord of the Mystery being so much more vivid by this point. Am I crazy? Like, chapter 50, Klein becomes a Beyonder at like chapter 30, but at this point he should probably be doing all the regular shit with like, training and all that stuff, and I feel like that world just felt, I don't know, more lively, or maybe I'm just thinking too deeply, I don't know. The words etched in the soil vanished as though by an unseen hand. Changed his writing in between the years? Maybe that's the game. Yeah, maybe just that. Yeah, like, I don't want to say it's worse or anything. I feel like up until this point it felt a lot more detailed, or I don't know, maybe that's not, I don't know. As for the stains on the sheep's face, Aurore found it challenging to expunge them using spells, so she refrained from approaching them and merely washed them away by water. She feared that the sheep were different from before and harbored latent dangers. In the old tavern, Lumion sat at the bar, sipping on light green absinthe, his right elbow propped up casually as he surveyed the room. That's actually a super fair point too, Dr. Z. That's actually a super fair point. He searched for the mysterious lady, but she was nowhere to be seen, nor were Ryan, Leia, and Valentine. Lumion knew not when the former would arrive. As for the latter, he assumed they were wandering the village. Pierre, who had just finished his glass of absinthe, picked up a new pale green liquid and babbled. Had a chance to get married. Is that so? Who would fancy a shepherd? Most of the pastures we graze are owned by manor owners or villages. If we want to graze, we have to pay a ranch tax or marry a village girl and settle down there. Oh, well, that's a good thing for a shepherd. Pierre took a sip of absinthe and looked at Lumion. That girl must fancy you and not ask for a dowry. At one time, a lady thought I was not bad and didn't mind that I was a paupier and a shepherd. What is a... Oh, sorry, what is a pauper? P-A-U-P. A very poor person. Jesus Christ. I did not know that word. And a shepherd, and she was willing to marry me. Was she foolish? Yes, Lumion nodded, honestly. In 2018, you were 19? Wow, you just gave us your birth year, Dr. Z. Doxing yourself. Yeah, like, I honestly didn't know that word said. Pierre took another sip of absinthe and was silent before saying later she died. He worked in a factory in the suburbs and fell ill due to exhaustion. I went to several cathedrals, got the priest to pray for her, and found doctors to treat her, but it was useless. The next day I realized something. Oh, what was that? Lumion asked, taking a swig. Those who possess flesh and excrete from their posterior cannot absolve us of all our predicaments. So those without flesh and those who do not excrete from their posterior can? Those are angels and saints, but will they deign to look at us? Then why did he go to the cathedral to seek the Padre's counsel? Not only does he possess flesh and excrete from his posterior, but he also indulges in carnal pleasures with women. You fail to understand, Pierre said. He possesses a certain intellectuality that can redeem our souls. Intellectuality? Lumion struggled to grasp the term. I heard that you visited the cathedral at noon. Why did you return in the afternoon? Lumion asked. In the afternoon, one can converse like like-minded individual. He did not deny that he had visited the cathedral at noon. Lumion breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that for the time being, no one else would retain memories or disrupt the flow of history. He suspected that Pierre had visited the cathedral at noon to confer with the Padre in advance of their small discussion group. After their libation? After their libations and with the sun setting on the horizon, Lumion and Pierre bid each other farewell and returned to their respective abode. Pons Benet, the Padre's younger brother, abruptly emerged with a few thugs and obstructed Lumion's way. The brawny, raven-haired, azure-eyed Pons looked at Lumion and smirked. You were good at pranks in the afternoon, no? Wasting our time in the cathedral. If the Padre wasn't there, I would have beaten you up. Bastard. Come. Initially, taken aback by this imbecile's foolishness, Lumion was elated. His and Aurora's judgment was right. In the previous cycle, Pons Benet likely hadn't acquired any supernatural abilities before Naroka's funeral, and thus had no sense of danger. He'd actually dared to obstruct a Beyonder's path. Without hesitation, Lumion turned and bolted, with Pons and his thugs running, in pursuit. Soon, as they exited the trail between the two buildings, they lost sight of their quarry. Pons searched his surroundings and said, "Search out and find him." He found it impossible that Lumion could have fled so quickly and believed that he was hiding. The thugs dispersed and combed the area for any potential hideouts, leaving Pons Benet alone. Lumion, who had ascended to the second floor of the adjacent building, chuckled and leapt towards Pons. Bang! Pons was sent hurling to the ground with tremendous force, gasping for breath. Had Lumion not restrained himself and struck him directly, he might have broken a few bones. Lumion stood up, clasped Pons's forearms and said, "Come, let us become better acquainted." Before Pons could offer any resistance, Lumion pulled him into his embrace and kneed him. Pons's eyes nearly bulged out of their sockets, his face twisting in agony. Lumion released him, allowing the man to crumble to the ground like shrimp. He then turned around and darted down the trail, vanishing from sight. I know. Lumion has been like, "Motherfucker, I was waiting for you to say something." He's like, "Listen, the only reason I'm not beating all of you up is it's gonna look hella sus if I beat up 5 people, okay? But your ass, I could have done this without powers." This is, oh yeah. This is what I'm imagining. This is what I'm imagining Lumion look like dropping out from the second floor. Just hit him at Mark fuck, just breaking his ribs. In the kitchen, which also doubled as part-time living and dining area, Lumion updated his sister. Pierre visited the cathedral in the afternoon. It is confirmed that Pons Benet still lacks any superpowers. Aurora nodded and recounted her own experience. Lumion pondered for a moment before saying that enigmatic lady claimed that certain entities may corrupt you merely by knowing their existence. Demon time, hell yeah. It's time for Lumien's. Yeah, because Klein would have. Yeah, because Klein would have just ran away, and then we would have found out that when Klein was running, he had set up some gunpowder barrels or something on the way, and then he like sparks a flame, and they all just get fucking blown up into oblivion. But like 3 of them are zombies, and so Klein figured that there'd be some Beyonder power, so he had prepared for that too. Whereas Lumien's just like, nah, I'm gonna jump off this really high building and just fucking. Oh. Aurora recollected the situation and surmised her brother's accounts to be true. To think that such dreadful corruption can be brought about by that concealed entity worshipped by Pierre and his accomplices. Even the evil deities mentioned in the manuscripts fail to elicit such a reaction. Lumien showed no signs of surprise and said, otherwise, why are we trapped in a time loop? Is it possible that we have to confront the concealed entity on the 12th night and defeat it in the cycle? This would entail gathering ingredients, digesting the potion, and undergoing repeated cycles to become a deity. Stop. It cannot become this extreme, Lumien interrupted. Yeah, you're right. We have at most 1 more cycle. It's impossible for us to be deities within 20 days. Klein, on the other hand, would be like, it will be a difficult, arduous process. My chances of survival are 3.5%. But we can do it. She then shrugged and added, there is no hope. Let us await death. Even Lumien, who had an inventive mind, struggled to keep up with his sister. Alright, I'm done venting, Aurora said. Come on. Eh? Lumien looked puzzled and took a few seconds to understand what she meant. By the look of things, the 3 transformed sheep are to be offered as sacrifices and brought back to Cordu. It's no surprise that they did not wait until early May. The 12th night, in fact, is the day of the grand-scale sacrifice to the concealed entity. We're making some progress, Queen. We're making some progress. We're, I think, now halfway through Volume 1, so it's good. Mine was gotcha corrupted 3% is a good odds. Yeah, exactly, yeah. That was my assumption, Aurora said. Why did the Padre and his accomplices receive varying degrees of blessings before Lent? According to my understanding, it should have been an exchange through sacrifice. Drawing on his malicious perspective, Lumien made a bold conjecture based on his previous cycle's events. A small sacrifice and a grand ritual? At the end of the Lent celebration, the Padre, who had obtained extraordinary powers, no longer concealed his abnormality. It was evident that he was planning something. After pondering for a moment, Aurora said the Lent celebration could be a part of the grand ritual. Before the grand ritual, the Padre made up his mind and offered his soul to the evil deity, and with a certain amount of offerings, he obtained a plethora of blessings. As someone who has spent, like, his formative years playing a lot of gacha games, yeah, trust me, I fucking hate gacha games too. If there was a good one out right now, I would certainly play it again, I want to be really clear, but fuck, I hate gacha games. And dude, like, as soon as they got to, like, hey, you need, like, 5 copies of this same character to make them, like, maximally powerful, I was like, this shit is getting out of fucking whack, bro. Any guess who the evil god whose name the sheep wrote is? I don't fucking know. I get all the... yeah. The Lent celebration... With a certain amount of offerings, he obtained a plethora of blessings. He completely revealed his true colors. By the looks of it, everyone in Cordu will be implicated once Lent begins. The siblings exchanged glances, believing that they were close to the truth. But if the abnormality erupted entirely from the Lent celebration until the 12th night, how could they patiently wait until the final ritual? There's a high probability that everyone in the village, apart from those who died as sacrifices, would be corrupted. I'm only a sequence 7, you are only a sequence 9, Aurora thought. You were facing too dire a situation. Based on Lumine's accounts of the battle at the end of Lent celebration and his recent experience hunting black-marked monsters, she knew that she was no match for the Padre who had received a boon. She had to prepare in advance before she could confront Pierre. Lumine had fortunately defeated the mutated Padre in a one-on-one battle, yet preventing the Padre and his accomplices from obtaining supernatural powers in advance could avert the 12th night, and the cycle would most likely restart early. Hell difficulty, Aurora slammed the table. Without waiting for Lumine, she raised her hands and tousled her blonde locks. After a series of gestures, Aurora composed herself and said, Lumine, seek out the trio of foreigners tomorrow morning. You may disclose the abnormality of the village to them. Concealing our status as Beyonders is unnecessary. That's dangerous, Lumine said. Was it not natural for wild Beyonders to be considered culpable when facing officials? In this predicament, we don't give a shit. Other than the enigmatic lady, the trio are most likely the most reliable people in the village. Moreover, each of them possess strength that is on par with mine or even beyond mine. We are all in the same boat. Do not underestimate each other. Whether one is a wild Beyonder or an official, we must band together. As for the possibility of being hunted down in the future, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Lumine had heard his sister use this phrase all in the same boat before, and he knew that it implied that they were in a similar predicament. If something were to happen, no one could escape. They must now stand together. Very well, I'll look for them tomorrow, he said. I now suspect that someone else is behind the Padre and Pierre. He is the root of the corruption. Madame Polly? Not only is she powerful, she's also the Padre's mistress. She could control him in secret and use him to influence the others. But she has no apparent connection to Pierre. Apart from the encounter with the three sheep, Pierre and Niort have gained supernatural powers when they grazed the plains last October. At the very least, they got the corresponding knowledge, because they did not return midway, so it is impossible to get it anywhere else. This means that the abnormality in the village can be traced back to July and August of last year. Did you notice any abnormalities back then? The word predicament reminds me of RI. I hate the word predicament. I hate RI. You know, I hope I never hate anyone, but I also hope that if in time I must hate someone, I can hate them as deeply as Dr. Z and Romero hate Reverend Insanity. The sheer fucking depth of their rage and like disagreeableness is like fascinating to me. He had initially thought that he was thoroughly acquainted with Cordu, but now he realized that the undercurrents had been present for over half a year. The realization filled him with dread and made him feel like a stranger in his own home. What's the problem? Lumine felt as though he was shrouded in layers of fog. He could never discern the truth of the matter. That's how much Username hates you. That might even be true. Boy, he is really unhappy with me, I think. But like, we haven't talked in like 6 months. You gotta imagine the guy just doesn't care anymore. Aurora continued, it could also be that owl. Perhaps the legendary warlock who died has not truly died. He may still be hiding somewhere in the village. Or perhaps someone else we frequently encounter. He may have discovered that I'm a warlock and deliberately suppressed the legend from me. There are no restrictions for such ordinary individuals like you. Notify me immediately the next time the owl pays you a visit. I will get the white paper to track it down. Lumine acknowledged. This time I'll pluck all of your goddamn feathers, he cursed inwardly. Tomorrow afternoon I shall extend an invitation to Madame Polly. The administrator remains at his post, leaving the butler and the servants as the only occupants of the village. You may clandestinely enter and scour for any clues. If you are successful in persuading the foreigners in the morning to come, you can also get their aid. She did not let White Paper venture into Madame Polly's place while she was present. Nevertheless, she could not afford to distract She could not afford to be distracted while in Madame Polly's company. Lumion nodded. I would advise against being alone with Madame Polly. I fear she may seize the opportunity to deal with you. Shall we invite Nazili and the others to an afternoon tea? Indeed, Aurora said, thinking that is a better option. Do you like cannibalism? I don't know. But we can, but he did things way worse and more disgusting. She then marked it in a tone that was equal parts apprehensive and teasing. You must exercise caution after infiltrating the castle. I do not wish to end up an aunt. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? I do not wish to end up an aunt? What does that mean? Lumi did not dare retort. I'm more concerned about your safety, for Madame Polly will be with you. During supper, Aurora set white paper free to monitor the sheep pen. She discovered that the 3 sheep had licked the blood off their faces, preventing Shepherd Pierre Berry from detecting any anomalies. Following that, Lumion resumed his education on mysticism until he fell asleep. He acquired many mastery of Hermes' words, including me, name, summon, need, light, and sun. Oh, I do not wish to end up an oh. Oh, I see. Lumion awoke in the room shrouded in grey mist. He strode to the window and scrutinized the dark red peak and the dilapidated edifices that surrounded it once more. I wonder what lies there, Lumion muttered. The ruins contained too many hazardous zones that he could not and dared not approach. For instance, the lair of the 3-faced monster. However, if he could summon a spirit world creature akin to white paper and forge a pact with it, allowing it to infiltrate and observe, he could gain much more intel. His vision, sense of smell, and hearing were all heightened by his characteristics. In theory, they constituted a supernatural power that could be conveyed upon the white paper. As he ruminated, Lumion muttered to himself, the problem now is whether I can summon a spirit world creature in the dream ruins. If I cannot, can I utilize our connection to bring it into the dream after summoning and forging a pact with it in reality? What implications will the addition of a contracted creature have on the cycle? Can the corresponding spirit world creature be added to the mix? If not, once the summoning duration elapses, the contracted creature will return and the cycle recommence. The more Lumion thought, the more his head throbbed. He found a profound reverence for mysticism. He could only hope to swiftly master a few languages that would enable him to complete a ritual. Without further ado, he seized a shotgun and the meager quantity of lead bullets that remained and a sharp axe, and departed from home, traversing the wilderness and re-entering the ruins. I know, he's like, I thought too deeply, my head hurts. Like, damn. My man only used to think about, like, stories he could tell lies about and nothing else. Oh my god, man, he should have been from the fucking author pathway. He should have been from the author pathway. He would have been goated as fuck. Author. Not author. Visionary pathway. After 2 nights of reconnaissance, Lumion discovered that the monsters inhabiting the outskirts of the dream ruins were fewer in numbers than he originally thought. Having dispatched the skinless creature and the shotgun-wielding monstrosity and the monster with the black mark, Lumion found little else in the area. Yet, Lumion had long since realized that he had no need for All he uncovered were a few twitching chunks of flesh. Their sole purpose seemed to be sustenance. Yet Lumion had long realized that he had no need for food in the dream. Each time he entered, he felt invigorated and hunger-free. His energy would only wane after extended bouts of exploration or combat, replaced by a sensation akin to hunger, but it was a mild feeling that didn't necessitate nourishment. Once the hunger became unbearable, Lumine's spiritual reserves and stamina would all be depleted. Physically and mentally drained, he'd be forced to exit the dream. After consuming a meal and recovering in the real world, he would return to the dreamscape, his vigor restored and hunger vanquished. As he delved deeper, Lumine surveyed his surroundings for any area of the collapsed structure. He discovered a smattering of coins, but their combined value amounted to little more than a louis d'or. He had found merely a few blue books inscribed with words. Left with no alternative, Lumine decided to venture further into the ruins. He cautiously navigated through the faint grey fog and the oppressive darkness. Souls-like mechanics, actually. Suddenly, he stumbled upon a series of shallow, bizarre footprints. It was difficult to classify them as footprints. The left one appeared ordinary, but the right one seemed more akin to a palm print. Another monster? Lumine stealthily trailed the footsteps, all while scrutinizing his environments to envision the ideal battlefield. Eventually, he detected movement, prompting him to stop. He skirted around the area and scaled a toppled building, using the rubble as cover. I doubt he could do spectator or psychologist. Nah, he could. He could. Peering out cautiously, Lumine surveyed the source of noise. There, in the center of an uncluttered wasteland, stood a figure who could scarcely be described as a human. While vaguely humanoid in shape, closer inspection revealed a host of incongruities. 2 eyes occupied the space where a nose should have been. Above them, a mouth, and below them a pair of ears. 2 eyes occupied where the nose should have been. Above them, a mouth. Below them, a pair of ears. What the fuck is going on here? The nose was nestled near the temples, while a leg and arm replaced each shoulder. The lower half of the figure consisted of another leg and an arm, and the entire form seemed to be haphazardly assembled. Do you know how much thinking an audience needs to do? You can't handle all that. No, trust. You'd get a huge intelligence boost. You gotta remember, not as big as the Conspirer boost or whatever. Like, he would get a good intelligence boost. He'd be chilling. By the way, I'm sure most of you guys have, but if any of you haven't checked out the Volume 6 video, please do check it out. Let me know how you guys like it. The revelation instantly clarified the nature of the peculiar traps Lumine had been seeing. The creature was garbed in a brown short-sleeved shirt and dark blue trousers, typical attire for lower-class Intesians. Lumine refrained from attacking, opting to observe patiently. Before long, the monster raised an arm and contorted its body backwards, its head making contact with the ground. Very flexible. You make a great dancer, Lumine mused. As if on cue, the creature launched into a dance, its movements alternating between bold and graceful, bizarre and comical, yet always rhythmic. More notably, the creature seemed to possess no skeletal structure. Its limbs twisted and folded back behind its back, its legs and arms intertwined with ease. If it's the dream, this might be music change? Oh. We are in the dream. It's okay. I have good music for this, don't you worry. I have good music for that. Oh, good morning, yes, also. More notably, the creature seemed to possess no skeletal structure. More notably, wait, I've read this 3 fucking times and I just keep reading it. I'm in a fucking time loop of my own. Holy shit. As the prankster king of Cordu, Lumine quickly devised a fitting moniker for his newfound quarry, Noodle Man. Drawing on his observations, he began to formulate a strategy for the impending confrontation. I mustn't assume that I can evade its attacks by maneuvering behind it. The Noodle Man is capable of treating its front and back interchangeably. I must be wary of its potential to constrict me like a serpent. Though its vital points remain uncertain, it does have a head. I'll start by chopping it off. As Lumien's thoughts raced, the monster's dance became more frenetic? What is it? Frenetic. Fast and uncontrolled, it leapt skywards, limbs splayed as if it was trying to embrace the heavens. Lumien found himself somewhat entranced, an urge to sway his body in sync with the creature's movements. He couldn't help but recall a melody his sister often played. Suddenly, a warmth spread across his left pec as a whisper seemed to reverberate in his skull. His skull pricked and his body shivered, as though a phantom voice that had once pushed him to the brink of madness was about to speak yet again. Lumien hastily undid the buttons of his leather coat and grey shirt with his left hand and gazed at his bare chest. The inky thorn mark over his heart had returned, and the bluish-black symbol consisting of an eye and writhing worms materialized and bore down on the former. Lumien froze. I didn't even cogitate. Did Noodleman somehow trigger this? Is there something related to mysticism about that dance? No hidden magic? Luckily, when the mark activates like this, the horrifying whispers are nearly mute. It won't drive me to death's door or strip me of restraint, but I'll suffer a migraine, tremors. Since becoming a hunter, Lumien had avoided entering cogitation to tap into his special trait, a danger that seemed far too great now. Before, he had flirted with death and emerged unscathed, but now he was hovering at death's door that might cause him to lose all self-control. Worse, excessive exposure to that ghastly whisper may drive him insane. He dared not take that risk again. After 2 or 3 seconds, Lumien was no longer astonished by the thorn being stimulated by the Noodleman's dance. An indescribable joy swelled up in his heart. He could endure such a negative state. Was there a chance that by learning Noodleman's dance, I can dance it ahead of time to activate it? Partially activate the special trait of my dream while hunting monsters? Then I'll charge at the stun monsters and finish it off quickly? Even if I can't fully trigger my special trait by dancing, it could be useful. I don't expect the target to give up resisting like the shotgun monster, but it's enough to weaken them. The more he watched the Noodleman dance, the more he found it pleasing. The eyes on the nose, the mouth on the forehead, and the arm that acted like a leg. How could any of that be as beautiful as a magical dance? In the blink of an eye, Lumien felt a strong sense of cherishing talent, allowing him to find a reason. What the fuck is going on here? Hope, you wanna see what I'm imagining when he thinks of like the Noodleman dancing? This is what I'm imagining. Aurora said that we can't select talents with a uniform standard, so why must it be human and not a monster? He decided not to hunt Noodleman before mastering the dance. He would come and observe it a few times every night to try and master it quickly. Of course, he planned to experiment with the other party first. He wanted to see how the incomplete special trait would affect the monster. Lumien made up his mind. He didn't button his clothes and bared his left chest. He circled around the cover and jumped up to from the collapsed house to the wasteland. Noodleman's dance abruptly halted. It began to tremble. It turned to Lumien and prostrated itself. Lumien stopped and didn't dare approach, maintaining a distance. Neither did the Noodleman. Even when facing my special trait that hasn't been fully activated, such a low-level monster gives up resisting and expresses its submission. I wonder what will happen to the higher level ones, or those with characteristics. Lumien smiled at the Noodleman and said, "Come on, dance again." Noodleman didn't dare look up. It was unknown if it understood what Lumien was saying. Quick, dance for your Pepe again." Noodleman trembled as it continued to prostrate. How can I communicate with this if it doesn't understand me? He immediately put his newly acquired Hermes vocabulary to use. I need... Lumion didn't say another word and began to dance. The monster didn't even acknowledge it as it pressed its face against the soil. Are you an idiot? He felt the scolding was unjustified. After all, which monster had he encountered that wasn't stupid? Even the most intelligent shotgun monster was subdued by human intelligence. At that moment, Lumion felt a warmth in his chest dissipate. He lowered his head and noticed that the thorn symbol had vanished. Lumion looked at the Noodleman, and the Noodleman raised its head and looked at Lumion. They both stared at each other, stunned. Lumion turned to run away, but the Noodleman leapt up and chased him. Can you imagine? You run into someone who's like basically like a god or something. You're like, holy fuck! You're prostrating on the ground, and the guy comes up and he goes, "I need." You're like, what the fuck are we talking about? Lumion was well acquainted with the area. His running speed was faster than the monster, so he easily shook it off and circled back to the wasteland to hide. He didn't flee because he was afraid of the other party, but he was concerned that he may not be able to control himself. He didn't know if he could find another dancing Noodleman in the dreams. Before learning that mysterious dance, he had no intention of hunting this monster. After a while, Lumion saw the Noodleman return. He nodded and muttered, as expected, monsters have their own territory, similar to wild beasts. Next, Lumion waited patiently for the wait that may not happen. After nearly 2 hours, he'd expended quite a bit of his spirituality and was hungry. Noodleman, who rested for quite a while, walked up to the center of the wasteland and raised its arm and leg. Chapter 59. Again. Alright, we're doing dancing again, boys. Their own domain expansion. Noodleman. Domain expansion. Dance floor. Like, alright, we're both gonna play Dance Dance Revolution. Whichever one of us gets a higher score gets 100% stat buffs to all their physical attributes. Whoever loses gets a 50% stat debuff. That's my domain. Chop chop, let's go. Lumion and the Noodleman began to dance once again. Alright, Nightwalker. Bye, buddy. Noodleman danced once more, and Lumion confirmed that that the mysterious dance could prevent the blackthorn symbol on his chest from activating fully. It produced no sound, but only a whisper. A highly advantageous thing for Lumion. But he discovered 2 problems. First, Noodleman's dance were extremely difficult and violated the human body's structure. Only a monster with exaggerated flexibility could do that. Though Lumion was a beyonder and a hunter, he had no confidence in replicating such abilities himself. He feared he would tear his ligaments, or strain his muscles, or fracture his bones. By the way, Dr. Z, you said you watched the Volume 6 video, right? Sorry, okay, let me ask you this way, rather. How many in chat have seen the Volume 6 video? Just curious, hold on. Oh, got it. Did you guys find anything that was spoilery in it? I think for me it was just that, the Sephira thing, but that was like very minor, and it was implied very heavily, so I just decided to leave it. What do you think this monster is? A demoness, you know, demoness of pleasure. It's trying to provide pleasure to those watching the dance. I don't know. You didn't find it spoilery? That's good. Because I had someone, just comment like 20 minutes ago. Oh, Saira. Oh, sorry, it was Saira. That I mentioned Chernobyl before I said spoiler warning. And I'm like, I guess technically, but like I didn't explain what it was until after. And like, it does say volume 6 in the title. Like, come on, if you haven't read volume 6, take some responsibility here, mate. Come on. I feel like that's fair. Only one other thing was Amon pick was him in Sephira Castle? Wait, what? I don't recall that at all? Oh. What? Yeah, exactly, yeah. It was like, oh, how could you spoil me on the Donghua? And I was like, the video came out before the Donghua came out. I don't know what the fuck you're on about. I'm sorry. Alright. Secondly, the dance stirred the surrounding powers of nature and depleted Lumien's spirituality considerably. After watching it for the third time, Lumien sighed, realizing he needed to rest. The hunter's spirituality is fucking useless. He was almost certain that the hidden existence corresponding to the thorn symbol was related to this dream ruin. The Padre had a black mark on his body, and there was a dancing monster that could activate the thorn symbol. It would be surprising to say that it had nothing to do with the hidden existence. Lumien believed Aurora's guess even more, thinking of the similar symbols on the Padre's chest and the dream ruins rebooting with reality. The key to resolving the loop may be hidden in the depths of this place, playing a vital role. Is that why the mysterious lady kept hinting at me to unravel the secrets of the dream ruins? The more Lumien thought, the more frustrated he became. He raised his left hand, which wasn't holding an axe, and made an obscene gesture at the blackthorn symbol on his chest. Ignoring the question of whether the hidden existence could sense or see him, Lumien felt that the problem wouldn't deteriorate any further, given that he had already fallen into a time loop thanks to him, and the people around him were becoming stranger and far more dangerous. After watching the dance for a third time, Lumien rubbed his somewhat empty head and left the ruins to go back home. Before leaving the dream, he attempted to consolidate the dance movements he had memorized and almost sprained his back, broke his knee ligaments, and tore his calf muscles. Goddamn. Dog shit. This isn't what something an ordinary human can do, Lumien cursed. As his spirituality was greatly drained, he fell asleep. As Lumien awoke, the sky was just beginning to lighten, the sun had yet to rise, and the crimson moon had lost its luster. He sat up slowly, feeling the satisfaction of a deep sleep, and the exhausted spirituality had been perfectly replenished. Walking to the window, Lumien drew back the curtains, allowing the light of dawn to flood into his room. Let me just change music really. Lumien snapped out of his daze and opened his mouth. Aurora! Aurora! The suspect is here. Wait, no, hold on. In the next moment, his eyes were fixed on a figure larger than an ordinary owl, perched on an elm tree not far away. Lumien! Aurora! Aurora! He shouted. The suspect's here! Follow it! Upon hearing the shout, the owl unfurled its wings and soared to the edge of the village. It gradually descended and vanished into the forest. Aurora, dressed in a white silk gown, entered Lumien's room seconds later. Is it that owl again? Yeah, did you follow it? Why does it appear right now? I was asleep. By the time I could release white paper, it was gone. But you said you couldn't sleep well with something on your mind. Humans tend to feel nervous, uneasy, and fearful at the beginning, but once we get used to it, we become numb, okay? Only by sleeping well can you be alert and rational. If you don't sleep, it'll affect your mental state, and you could start losing control. Ugh, we can only wait for next time. Aurora suggested, let's try to identify its pattern and appearance. We can't keep waiting all night like this. We need to rest, and can't be on guard all the time. It's only in the latter half of the night and early in the morning. Why that time? It seems more like an act than a pattern. Think, did you do something or repeat the same action on the corresponding nights when it appeared? I was exploring the dream ruins. Before it happened, I killed a monster in the dream. Before it appeared a second time, I activated the symbol on my chest through cogitation and discovered what was special. The third time, I consumed a potion in the dream and became a hunter. The fourth, which is today, I've discovered a way to activate my specialness in the dream. To a certain extent while incurring less damage. How did you do that? Lumien recounted the Noodleman's dance. The owl's visit seemed to be relatively related to a significant process in your dream exploration. Yes! The first time I killed a monster, the first time I showed my specialness, the first time I consumed a potion, the first time I found a way to make use of that specialness. Major developments have a certain reaction in reality too. Maybe the owl sensed it. In the future, we can create a similar opportunity and wait for that owl. I believe the next time it appears, I would have mastered the mysterious dance and we can make use of the specialness brought about by the symbol on my chest. When the time comes, I will let you know. I'll inform you before entering the dream. Be prepared. I hope to find out who that owl is related to. Aurora. Big Sis, do you possess any knowledge about that particular dance? As you are aware, my understanding of mysticism is still quite rudimentary. Major reasonable developments? True, very much so, yeah. This is huge. Several notebooks have alluded to the existence of large-scale ritualistic magic during the early 5th Epoch and throughout the 4th Epoch. Those rituals entailed not only numerous sacrifices, but also a multitude of participants. They employed specific dances to appease their desired entities in exchange for a response. In essence, it was a form of ritualistic magic and sacrificial ritual and magic. Dancing from the onset was believed to influence nature, facilitate communication with deities, its effects resembling those of the Beyonder languages. In Aurora and Lumien's world, history was divided into 5 epochs. The Chaos Epoch, the Dark Epoch, the Cataclysm Epoch. The Cataclysm Epoch was also known as the Glorious Epoch. The 4th Epoch was the Age of the Gods. The 5th, which is the present day, was referred to as the Iron Age. Of the 5 epochs, as the history on the first 3 remained unverified, only myths and legends survived. The 4th Epoch occasionally yielded documents, information, notebooks, ruins, mausoleums, ancient cities, and so on. Nevertheless, history seems shrouded in a thick fog and only a faint outline discernible. That Noodleman employs dance to appease the hidden entity that corresponds to the thorn symbol. It is hoping to elicit a response or a boon. Perhaps a significant portion of its ritual is absent, resulting in an extremely weak effect. Or is the problem with the dream ruins causing a failure that can only trigger a certain fraction of power contained in the symbol within my body? It's as if I'm a god. Having witnessed Noodleman's dance and being pleased, I decided to highlight the symbol and offer a response. You're more like a carrier of the symbol, a tool. I suspect the dance was specifically invented to please or communicate with some hidden deity that corresponds to the thorn symbol. Thorn. Who uses thorns? Wouldn't that be like the mother goddess of depravity, or like the earth mother or some shit?
Won't you step with me, dance with me? Feel
Hello.
alright. I feel good on you.
I remember how Inzongwil once called Klein a thorn in his side. Yeah, well, forget it's unrelated. Oh my god. You fucking piece of shit.
Close your eyes. Come to me. Close your
Hold on. Money's trying to talk to you? Oh shit. Oh shit. Money, how's it going, man? How you doing? Do I suspect. Wait, hold on. Although I am familiar with the names of the corresponding Sequence 9 and Sequence 8 pathways, I have a certain level of understanding of them. None of them can execute that kind of dance. And Noodleman's performance does not seem to be like that of a higher sequence. Otherwise, you may not have been able to escape. Perhaps it's not it's not from one of the pathways, but a boon from a hidden entity, Lumion thought. I wonder if it has anything to do with the Circle inhabitants or a power equivalent to a Sequence 9 or 8. No worries, Hollow. I appreciate you popping by. No, Money. I see you now. I see you now. This is also true. I don't know the last time I left the house without headphones. I'm antisocial. How far are you reading today? What's in the chapter? What's in the title? 63, I think? 63, yeah. What did I miss? Basically, we went back into the dream. We found a monster that may give us some help in controlling our powers a little bit. And then we also got some and then we also found out some baser stuff about the actual time loop and stuff. So we're gonna start working on reaching out to those 3 outside Beyonders, like the official Beyonders, and saying like, "Hey, can you guys help us?" I wonder if it has anything to do with the Circle inhabitant or a power equal to Sequence 9 or 8. Probably, Lumion laughed. Let us name it Noodleman, Circle inhabitant's corresponding Sequence 9. The siblings chatted for a while before heading downstairs for some breakfast. Chapter 60, Dancer. Ooh. Ugh. Lumion was in no rush to track down Ryan, Leigh, and Valentine. Instead, he headed straight for the old tavern. If the enigmatic lady showed up, he had a ton of questions for her. Accepting her gift had bound him to some future cost. He might as well seize the chance to gain more benefits right now. The instant he stepped into the tavern, his eyes sparkled. He saw the mysterious old woman, holding 2 glasses. She knew I'd come. "Good morning," he said. She wore a white blouse with vine leaf patterns at the collar and a beige ankle-length dress. Lumion, no stranger to his sister's fashion magazines, recognized this as Trier's latest trend. She glanced up at him. "It's getting late. Almost noon." "This is to fit your schedule, isn't it?" Lumion thought. Ugh. But seeing the enigmatic woman brought him a sense of calm. Laura's being called old is devious, I know. She's like 30. He sat back and cut to the chase. "I've been through a lot recently." She slid a glass of absinthe his way. She neither invited him to speak nor silenced him. "What's this?" he asked, as the absinthe tasted different than anything else he had had before. A different kind of absinthe, quite popular in Trier nowadays. To differentiate from the original, people call it absinthe fennel. Authors, painters, poets particularly like it a lot. Small, barely. I mean, you've been really good recently, so I'm not gonna LARP on you too hard for it, but from my understanding, even if they were small spoilers, I don't know, because most of them got deleted and stuff, the sheer frequency of them at the start was kind of fucking crazy. The sheer amount of people who asked me to ban you was kind of crazy. The green liquid in the clear glass seemed to possess a hypnotic hue. Absinthe's main ingredients were wormwood, fennel, and anise. Lumion didn't understand her motives. Had she just traveled to Trier to bring some absinthe fennel? He didn't ask. Instead, he recounted his events, both real and dreamed. She sipped from her small cup, listening to Lumion's accounts. "That's about it. Can I learn that dance as quickly as possible? Without a significant boost in flexibility, you'll never get through it. You could force yourself through a portion, but you'd risk ligament and muscle tears. How would you hunt the monsters then? Is there a way to increase my flexibility? That's for you to figure out." What the fuck? "Explain yourself. Don't make me beg." If she were if she was less mysterious, he would have demanded. As if reading his mind, she said, "The solution to your flexibility lies within you." Eh? Didn't your sister teach you ritualistic magic? "You did. Pray to myself? Who do you think you are? What good would that do? You can only summon the weakest creatures from the spirit world. Your spiritual perception improves with your body." Danger intuition, for example. Though Hunter's spirituality was enhanced, it focused on spiritual perception and fell short in ritualistic magic. So what do I need to do? You've studied dualistic ritual law, haven't you? Luckily, you have a sister. Otherwise, I'd have to teach you all this mumbo-jumbo myself. You mean you didn't tell me about ritualistic magic and all that stuff because it was too much of a hassle? And you just showed up after Aurora taught me? Lumion felt a rage bubbling up inside him. This is so based. She's just sitting there. She's like, "Yeah, like, I've been here. I just didn't want to come down because, like, I'd have to teach you a bunch of shit, and that's fucking annoying. So, like, I kind of just waited until she had to teach you. And then I was just a lot easier, you know? But I brought you some good absinthe, so, you know, even Steven, really." He took a couple of deep breaths. Dualistic rituals require items closely related to deities or supernatural beings, but I don't have any. Oh, yes you do. Don't you remember? The thorn symbol? Forget the bluish-black symbol. The key to a dualistic ritual is channeling the divine power in the object. If its power decreases, the balance in your body will be disrupted, and when that happens... She left the sentence hanging, but her expression told Lumion all he needed to know. In Aurora's usual grim words, no hope, just wait for death. Is the bluish-black symbol protecting me from corruption? Lumion thought. It is the great existence I mentioned protecting you. Once you solve the secrets of the Dream Ruins, I'll tell you his honorific name, and you can pray to him directly. The bluish-black symbol, is it those, like, the 4 dots that, like, Klein had on his hand or whatever? Is that what it is? Some, like, aura of Sephira Castle or some shit protecting him? He thought for a moment and guessed, use her dualistic ritual to steal the power from the thorn symbol? If its power decreases, the corruption will weaken and the seal strengthen. How can you call that stealing? This is appealing to an entity for a boon. It just so happens that he has some of his power nearby. The response follows the law of proximity. I think you're kind of reaching? I thought it was like bluish black dots. Was it not? Oh, okay. Only mystics like you who speak in riddles understand how to sugarcoat it. What's the difference between this and stealing, Lumion thought. Through the dualistic ritual, can I appeal to the power behind the thorn symbol and ask it to grant me the ability to greatly increase my flexibility? Something like that. To be more precise, ask it to grant you the power of a dancer. Dancer? For beyond our pathways, beyond the normal 22, we classify them into sequence 9 to 0 in a convenient way. So there are other pathways beyond the standard 22. So this does kind of answer my, because like I had this question in thing, right? In Lord of the Mysteries, where I was like, but there's too many fucking above the sequences, like for the sheer numbers didn't add up. Yeah, like my numbers said that there has to be like 6 or 7 or whatever, but then they were like, oh, there's like 8 or 9. I was like, where the fuck are these coming from? So these are the non-standard pathways, basically. Okay, so I wasn't going fucking batshit insane. Okay. But I don't remember the numbers, Hope. It's just like you're picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, don't be pedantic. All right, gotta store close. For what, Kami? That's gonna be hard for you, I suppose. No. Money. I already know. Just make a new chart. Yeah, I'll just make one right below it. It's all good. Groceries? You kind of do need groceries. In a way, this sequence division follows the rules of this world. Does a dancer correspond to sequence 9 of the thorn symbol, just as circle inhabitants correspond to its sequence 4? Lumion fired off? Eh? Can I boost my flexibility and improve my mystic skills, allowing me to easily grasp that mysterious dance? How do we know circle inhabitants are sequence 4? How do we know this? What? Where did we get this from? Circle inhabitant. Sequence 9 dancer. 4. Read my comment, Dr. Z said so. Now you get why Mother Goddess of Depravity is still above the sequence, even though two of her pathways are on Earth. She has one left. Eh? But how do we know she has 3 pathways? Because then, if you're implying that like it needs to have a minimum of 3, does that mean the monster pathway has 2 at least outside? As expected. With a foundation in mysticism, communication is a lot easier. Then what are sequence 8, 7, 6, 5 of the thorn symbol? Well, because monster only has 1, right? The monster is the only monster. The pathway seems to stand alone. It doesn't have any neighboring pathways, so maybe it has some outside ones that are not here. Sequence 8 is Alms Monk. What in the fuck is even this, bro? I walk in thinking I know all the sequences except for like 8 or 9 things. Or sorry, like 4 or 5 things, and they're like, nah, motherfucker, you don't know shit. Sequence 8, Alms Monk. Sequence 7, Contractee. Gosh, why do you want to know so much? Master the ritual first and strive to become a dancer quickly. Alms Monk, Contractee. These names clicked for Lumion. Alms monks referred to certain members of the various churches in reality. The EBS church was rife with factions, each with their own beliefs. But 2 main groups stood out, the Order of Preachers and the Brotherhood Minor, also known as the Alms Monk Brotherhood. The former was made up of clergymen and purifiers of the Inquisition dedicated to the cruel persecution and purification of cultists, heretics, and wild beyonders. The latter were mainly concentrated in cloisters, a few clergymen among their ranks, espousing temperance, begging for food, and ascetic training. As the mention of Alms Monk, Lumion immediately thought of the missionaries, asceticism, and special ritualistic magic. Sealing power. Dare, are you doing? Sounds like a shitty sequence. Imagine being, yeah, exactly. Like imagine being a sequence 8 and you're like, please give me food, please. I know that's not, it's not the same thing, but like basically, like that's your shtick for like 2 months straight. Cringe. As for the contractee, the first thing that came to mind was a black mark on the padre and the mouth orifice monster. Wait, the monster I killed was a contractee? I killed a sequence 7 monster? Yes, contractees use special contracts and godhood provided by that existence as witness to obtain different powers. Each one contract corresponds to one ability. Whether they're powerful or not depends on the ability they obtain and how many they have. It is not impossible for ordinary people to kill them if they take the wrong path. In fact, similar situations occur in the Beyonder domain. It is common for Beyonders who aren't skilled in combat to be killed by those of an inferior sequence. Ability is important, as is intelligence. Preparation is significant, is equally significant. So wait, hold on. We wouldn't even call these guys Beyonders because she said like it's common. Similar situations happen in the Beyonder domain, so like they're not even called Beyonders. They're just called something else altogether. They're called like the Cosmosers. I don't know. Cosmonauts. description. Hope. Imagine advancing to robot, and imagine robots like a sequence 6 or something, and you're feeling like pretty good. You're like, God damn, like I'm pretty strong. Like, I'm a powerhouse now. Like I'm killing this shit. You walk out and someone goes, yeah, clanker, and you go, you just break down into tears. You're like, oh my God, what have I done? Chapter 61. American version Glock Monk. That's crazy. Sequence 8 of the monster pathway robot? What are you talking about? That's not it. Oh. Yeah. Oh fuck, it is robot. Oh my God, that's so cringe. Wait, what? What? When? Why is that the case? What? I didn't... What? How did I not know this? The more Lumion listened to the lady in front of him, the more he concurred. Bro, I'm supposed to remember all of them? If I don't remember 220 different names all in sequence, I'm a fucking fraud? The more Lumion listened to the lady in front of him, the more he concurred. He was uncertain about what would happen at a higher sequence. Among the few Beyonder creatures he had interacted with, the threat posed by the fellow with the vortex-shaped Probosic was far inferior to the monster carrying a shotgun. Although he had become a Beyonder, significantly improving his close combat ability and exploration, the problem primarily lay with the contractee monster. First, it did not display a relatively strong pursuit ability. Second, lacked long-range attacks. Third, its invisibility was not ridiculous. It was completely countered by a hunter's grasp of the environment and minute traces. Why do I think Wiz doesn't get the significance of the ritual Forrest just told Lumion? Lumion is a Beyonder. I'm aware of that. That part I did know. Believe it or not, I did get that part. He is a hunter. I agree. Wholeheartedly. Moreover, it had the common problem of monster. It did not have a high intelligence and not as good combat intelligence as the shotgun monster. With all of this combined, the final outcome was obvious. Lumion just never expected it to be equal to that of a Sequence 7. He didn't even compare it to the shotgun monster, recognizing the vast difference between the two. The shotgun monster was a force to be reckoned with, while the mouth orifice monster was weak. Ability, intelligence, preparation, improvisation, and environmental factors, there are too many variables that can affect the outcome of battle. Lumion concluded inwardly and asked him without much hope. Can I directly pray for the contractee power? That's a good way to kill yourself, sure. In theory, yes, you can. After all, the power sealed in your body isn't limited to a Sequence 7 equivalent. But your body can withstand, but can your body withstand such a tremendous boon, or rather, corruption? If you don't mind turning into a monster, a puppet of that existence, or transforming into another creature, then yeah, go ahead. Then it won't be long before I see you personally turning your sister into a sacrifice. Lumien's hair stood on end, realizing that he was not ready to advance beyond his current level. So, Dr. Z is obviously implying that he's gonna get the powers of another sequence, right? Like another, not a Beyonder, but whatever the fuck we want to call him, like Cosmonaut or whatever. But then, I don't know how that would work. Is that like, because I'm thinking that's like a temporary boon or something, right? Like, it's something that'll last for like a set amount of time before it like evaporates. I hope not that he's going to be climbing 2 pathways simultaneously now. Because like everything that I know tells me that the corruption should kill him like instantaneously. What are we talking about? There's a delay? I mean, like about the same as normal or like more than normal? So the most significant boon I can handle right now is a dancer? Yes, that's why I waited for you to become a Beyonder and digest some of it before telling you. Only when your mind, spirituality, and body have improved significantly do you have a chance of resisting the corruption. As your soul, body, and body of heart and mind strengthen, your body adapts to the slight change brought about by the boon. You can consider Om's monk. You're kidding. He's gonna be walking up 2 pathways simultaneously? But then how do you do the acting? Like, doesn't it just conflict with each other? As Lumien thought, the most crucial thing to learn was the mysterious dance. Initiating the incomplete activation of the thorn symbol would improve his ability to explore the dream ruins. So he nodded. Or should I pray? What I'm about to tell shall leave my mouth and enter your ears. Do not tell anyone else. I understand. Will anything go wrong from hearing it? When did you have the illusion that there's nothing wrong with you? That's kind of crazy work, though. He's like, will I be corrupted? And she's like, when did you have the illusion that you weren't corrupted? Get fucking rolled, loser. You belong to a group of individuals who are on the brink of being corrupted. Luckily, the mark left by that great existence was activated. The corresponding power descended upon you, sealing the source of corruption and establishing a balance. This motherfucker's a Jinchuriki from fucking Naruto. He's got like the 9-tailed fox sealed in him, but like the 4th Hokage, Klein, in his dying breath, sealed it with the 4 black dots or whatever. What the fuck is this? Next, you will perform a ritual to confront the power within the seal and pray for the corresponding blessing, akin to proactively withstanding a certain level of corruption. So why should you be afraid of minor issues that you hear? Do not fret. When I reveal the words, I will provide you with a sufficiently concealed environment and secure protection. In the future... Dude, Force is strong as fuck. Because what she's basically saying is, I'm going to tell you the name of... I'm going to assume this is equivalent to like a outer deity or something. And she's basically saying like, oh, I'll provide you with enough cover that like you won't be instantly corrupted. Like I'll provide you with a concealed environment. And the last thing we heard was that only at the angel level can you know of the great old ones. or like and not be corrupted. You're trying to tell me Forge is a fucking angel right now? What are you talking about? In the future, it would be best to perform the ritual in the ruins. Where there is a grey fog in the protection of the great existence, it will not directly draw the attention of that entity. Furthermore, before the ritual, scramble every segment and description. Attempt not to pierce them together and analyze them completely. Otherwise... She chuckled and did not dare elaborate, but Lumion figured what could happen. The woman then nodded. Let us commence. The first is the power of inevitability. So I assume the great old one who we're going to learn of is the Circle of Inevitability, because Lord of the Mysteries was the title of the first book. That was a great old one. So now I'm going to assume Circle of Inevitability is also another great old one. That's probably the one we're going to learn, right? So Circle of Inevitability will probably have like 2 or 3 sequences underneath him. This is one of the sequences. The fucking dancer sequence or whatever. Using it is sufficient. It corresponds with your blackthorn symbol. The complete name of that being is not something you can comprehend at the moment. Even I must provide some concealment before daring to contemplate it. For some reason, Lumion felt the light around him diminish slightly. The second part is you are the present, the past, and the future. You are the reason, the result, and the process. So you're telling me this... So you're telling me this great old one has the ability to remove, like, cause and effect? Like, or not remove, but like has the control of cause and effect, and like that's one of his powers? Like this person can say like, oh yes, you punched me, that is the cause, but like the effect that it would do damage to me doesn't exist because we just take that away. Excuse me? As the lady enunciated each word with precision. No, I don't think that's stated, Plague, but it kind of is obvious, right? You are the reason, the result, and the process. The reason, the result, and the process literally means cause and effect. The reason, like, okay, I said some dumb shit to someone, that was the reason. The result, the process is that they punched me, and the result is that I have broken teeth. Cause and effect. As the lady enunciated each word with such precision, Lumion felt his senses spin. He realized that a vortex of dark wind was enveloping him. The table on which the absinthe rested writhed as if imbued with a life of its own. Suddenly a sharp sound echoed, an ebony worm, as long as an adult index finger slithered out of the wooden board, and an ominous aura spread. Before Lumion could observe the worm's features, the woman sitting across from him lowered her cup, filled with the green liquid, and slammed it on the creature, reducing it into a mess. She took another sip of the absinthe fennel, as if nothing untoward had occurred, and emphasized, remember, the first and the second parts must be recited in ancient Hermes, Jotun, Dragonese, Elvish are also acceptable. Similar to how the initial I in the right that can worship oneself cannot be in Hermes. The third part can be spoken in Hermes. The text is, I implore you, I beseech your benediction, I plead with you to grant me the power of a dancer. Remember, the 3 sentences are progressive. These words did not elicit a new environmental shift. The anomalies that had caused Lumion's unease gradually subsided. Lumion committed them to memory earnestly and followed the woman's instructions to scramble the words. The woman savored the remaining absinthe with satisfaction. The rest of the ritual is similar to the common ritualistic magic. The corresponding ingredients are grey amber, tulips, cloves, and deer musk. Choose any of the 2 to make candles. The remaining 2 can be used as herbs, essential oils, and extracts. Lumion furrowed his brow as he recalled the dualistic ritual he had learned. The spot representing the deity should have an item closely related to the deity. My thorn symbol is on my chest. I can't skin it, right? Besides, I doubt it's useful if I skin it. The power was sealed in his heart and spirit body. Didn't I tell you to make candles? When making the candles, take 5 milliliters of your blood from your chest. Doesn't matter if it's more or less. In any case, use it to fuse with the material and let it become part of the candle. In the ritual, the candle is placed in the deity's location. There is only one candle. Because of your blood, the candle is awakened by the ancient Hermes, and after becoming a symbol, it will point to you. It feels like a special variant of the dualistic ritual. Can I use perfume with grey amber? Sure. Just use it like an essential oil. I possess the grey amber in that matter. I even have some cloves at home. Lumion wondered where he could acquire tulips and deer musk. Firstly, Aurora should have some materials, he thought. Secondly, the materials could be found at the administrator's residence. Or thirdly, the Padre's house could also have some. Lumion decided to inform his sister of the ritual and break down the instructions individually. 2 individual words. He planned to learn the corresponding ancient Hermes words from her and inquire about the availability of materials. As the lady was about to depart, Lumion asked, "What was that lizard that crawled out of the Padre's mouth?" I cannot explain it to you. Just tell me. Damn it. As the lady left, Lumion retrieved the pen and paper he had brought and jotted down the ritual instructions in a disordered manner. Upon leaving the old tavern, Lumion scoured the village for the trio of foreigners. It didn't take long before he heard a faint tinkling sound. "Hello, my cabbages, I have missed you so much." But he quickly remembered that he had not met these foreigners. He kneaded his face to appear more serious and strode to them. "I know who you're searching for," he said. They all looked at him, but Lumion didn't continue. He continued walking forward. They all exchanged glances, suppressed their expressions, and followed Lumion as if nothing had happened at all. Okay, 2 more chapters. Give me just 2 seconds. I'm just gonna run and grab some water. I drink. And it's getting quite dry. Give me 2 seconds. Be right back. Alright, sorry about that. We're back. Hydration is good. Agreed. And I don't drink a lot of water, so what little I can get is... I don't touch the stuff. I just drink coffee and Coke. Hey, Coke is like 90% water, okay? So is coffee. Coffee's like 99% water, really. Not by volume. Lumion halted at the forest's edge, a short distance from his house, and glanced back at Leia and the others. The spot was quite secluded, with no villagers passing by. As the tinkling sound drew closer, Leia smiled. How do you know who we're looking for? Lumion remained silent as he pulled out the item he had brought with him. The blue book. He lifted the item and showed Ryan and the others the pages where the words had been cut out. Yes, I think the studies have done show that coffee has like a net zero impact on hydration, because what it makes you lose due to caffeine being a diuretic, it replaces with the volume of water, so it's like a net zero effect. I'm aware. So you wrote the letter, Ryan nodded. They never mentioned a help letter in Cordu, let alone detailed the letter that was assembled. Unless the other party had a key informant in Bigor, it had to be the letter writer. Leia looked around. The two small silver bells hanging from her veil above her head weirdly didn't make a sound. Valentine was about to ask when, how can we be sure that we're here? How can you be sure that we're here because of that letter? Valentine asked. You told me, Lumion smiled. There are very few foreigners who come to Cordu to begin with. Even fewer who don't buy wool, cheese, lamb, and only wander to chat with people. Besides, I didn't say anything. I just showed you the blue book. So it's a test. Clever. Those who don't know the letter won't understand your intention and won't be suspicious. At most, they'll think it's a prank. You are the prankster king of this town. This seemingly innocent line revealed that the trio had gleaned something from chatting in Cordu over the past few days. You believed it? You seriously believed it? Lumion laughed. Seeing Orion and the other's astonishment, he said, I was just joking. I'll tell you the real reason later. As expected of the prankster king, aren't you afraid that we won't believe what you're about to say? You can choose whether you believe it or not, or you can verify it yourself. In your letter, you mentioned that the people around you are getting weirder. What's so weird? Plenty. To be precise, the Padre believes in an evil god, Shepherd Pierre Berry turning people into sheep and herding them back to Cordu, Madame Polly rides a demon-drawn carriage through the wilderness. When the Deputy Padre sleeps, a translucent lizard-like creature crawls out of his mouth. Naroka's clearly not dead, but she wants to go to Paramita. Louis Lund, the administrator's butler, had just given birth to a baby. The owl from the Warlock legend flies back to the village from time to time. Fuck. Everyone was increasingly shocked as they listened. They didn't want to believe it, but they felt the kid couldn't have invented this many stories. Do you think so, Gil? Do you think like he'll take the provoker potion and it'll be like instantly digested because he would have pre-acted it his whole fucking teenage years? They were all seasoned investigators who had dealt with numerous Beyonder incidents involving evil gods and mystic arts, but none were as ludicrous as what they were hearing now. More importantly, most of the incidents they had previously handled stood independent. At most, 2 or 3 things would occur at the same time. Moreover, they were closely related to each other. What kind of place is this? Almost everyone thought. They suspected they had run into the legendary abyss. You're not joking, are you? I'm not even done. There's another. This is the 3rd or 4th time I've talked to you about something like this. My cabbages? Ryan? Leia and Valentine? Wait, no, sorry. This is the 3rd or 4th time I've talked to you about something like this. Ryan, Leia, Valentine, my cabbages. Ryan, Leia, and Valentine weren't surprised that Lumi knew their names. It was inevitable. They had been chatting to everyone in the village. But they were astonished by the first half of that sentence. What do you mean? What I mean is that we've been repeatedly experiencing the past few days. In other words, we're in a time loop. Think carefully. Was it really March 29th when you entered the village? Everyone racked their brains. After more than 10 seconds, Valentine revealed a pained expression. My sense of time is so hazy. I can't remember the exact date of the last couple months, but I remember celebrating my youngest son's birthday before I set off. His birthday is April 10th. In other words, the actual date now is mid to late April. Judging from the looks of it, the number of cycles I went through before I had my memories wiped can't be more than a couple. It can't even be more than once. Yes, that was the first cycle. The loop hadn't even begun, so I could send a letter without the river's help. When the loop happened and time rewound, the corresponding memories would be replaced, but any materials beyond the range wouldn't be turned back. Lumion had a new theory about his letter. You can also wire the outside world and get current dates in a way that won't that won't raise any red flags. When the time comes, you'll believe me. Yes, send a telegram, Valentine said. Ask for help. Ask for help? In the face of time loops, what do officials usually do? Stamp it out and prevent the corruption from spreading, Ryan said. Asking for help is as good as suicide, Lumion smiled. According to the rules, we have to report back ASAP. I'm willing to sacrifice myself for this. What the fuck? No, I have to get rid of this guy or everyone's gonna goddamn die. What? Fortunately, Leia and Ryan felt that they could still be saved, so they nodded. They patted Valentine's shoulder and said, "Stay calm, we don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a better way. If we can't save ourselves, then we'll report it." Exactly, Lumion nodded. The key to the problem most likely happened on the 12th night. We must survive until then. Only then can we resolve the issue next time. Seeing that he had revealed so many details and that they could verify them all, everyone was inclined to believe him. No wonder you know us and that we're looking for someone. It turns out they had communicated in a previous cycle. She subconsciously touched the silver bell above her head, wanting to do a divination. But she held back, recalling all that Lumion had described. You're telling us this because you want us to cooperate with you and your sister? Very astute, my cabbage. First, wire the outside world, saying that your investigation has made some progress, and the Padre seems to have an issue. Then ask what the fuck the lizard that crawls out of his mouth is. This is the least thing to cause a destructive blowout of all the abnormalities. Oh, and confirm the real date, and be careful quickly. And be careful how it's done. Don't let anyone suspect anything. Secondly, my sister will invite Madame Polly to my house this afternoon for tea. I hope that you can sneak into the administrator's mansion with me and do a search. As for the future, it depends on what happens today. The four of them then arrived at the village square. Ryan went to wire the outside world while Leia, Valentine, and Lumion waited outside. Leia glanced at Lumion. So you're a Beyonder? So is your sister? Yeah. Aren't you afraid of being arrested? We're in the same boat right now. In the face of an emergency where the boat is about to sink, we can only help each other. As for the future, we'll talk about it later. It's still unknown if we can even escape the sloop. Fair, Leia said. The reason why she brought up this topic was to let her companion understand this and not do anything stupid. Valentine's expression remained cold as he nodded as well. Why can you keep the memories from before? I'm not telling. I'm just joking. Actually, even I don't know. I somehow retain my memories, but it's only from the last 2 cycles. Think back to what happened before then. This is important. I've been thinking, but I don't know. Perhaps I'll only suddenly realize when I encounter something. Leia, who was about to help analyze the situation when Ryan, who had received a reply, walked out of the administrative building. Are you in COI spoilers? Should we end it at 63? Special move? Is money behind? Am I on crack? Do you guys want to stop at 63? Do you guys want to keep going to like 65 or something? Because it's like, I'll finish 63, but then it'll be like not even a 2-hour stream. Go buy stuff? Fuck you, just go. Watch it back later. Fine both ways. All right, let's see where this ends off. If it ends off in a decent place, we might leave it. But if it's in a shitty place, we'll keep going. Mm-mm. 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 Mm. Okay. Leia and Valentine asked Ryan in unison, "How is it?" Although they already believed Lumien's words, it was inevitable for them to hope for luck. I was afraid to ask too directly. I know only that the real date is late April. I don't know the exact date. They had fallen into a time loop. Judging from the various files and information, this was definitely not something the three of them should face or deal with. They were seasoned beyonders who had handled many incidents. It was the first time they had encountered something like this, though. What the fuck is Cordu? Leia asked. I don't know. Before the loop, it was a beautiful place and the people were simple. Everyone was normal. He didn't tell the three foreigners that the person standing before them was one of the abnormalities. Ryan sighed. I've never encountered so many abnormalities at once, and everything is serious. This is the most dangerous situation I've ever faced, Valentine said. It's normal, but because those who have encountered something like this are dead. Don't say anything if you can't say anything nice, Leia said. People like you won't survive past childhood elsewhere. Killed in the cradle? Did you get an answer about the Deputy Padre? Lumion asked. In the past few years, similar legends have emerged in various places across northern and southern continent. Legend has it that heaven banished a group of sinful elves to the ground. They can only reside within human bodies, hoping to redeem their sins and gain absolution before returning to heaven. In some versions of the legend, these elves appear as translucent lizards. However, the elf I'm referring to is not an ancient elf, more akin to a mixture of fairies and spirits. Again in recent years? The legend of Madame Knight only surfaced recently too. What the fuck is going on? Did they specify which deity's heaven? What's remarkable is that every person who claims to have seen an elf believes it is from the kingdom of their local deity. Heavens of different deities? Did that lizard-like elf come from the sky? According to Aurora, beyond the sky lay the cosmos, each star representing a world. Are they aliens? In some versions of the legend, these elves appear as translucent lizards. What about the others? That's all they said they could uncover quickly. They may need to communicate with headquarters for more info. I'm familiar with the legend of the elves, Leia said. I once met a native of Lenberg who shared that farmers in many regions of the South Central Zone have reported mischievous fairies recently. These creatures, known as Alps, would vandalize their home and fields or play pranks. The South Central Zone referred to the area where Lenberg, Mason, Seagar, and other small countries were located. It also included a few areas in Intis Republic, the Lone Kingdom, and Fenapotter Kingdom. Most of them were located in the highlands, mountains, forests, and areas filled with ruins and legends. Lumion listened attentively and concluded, this is not an isolated phenomenon. Each elf seems to have their unique way of causing trouble, Ryan mused. And the lizards that inhabit human bodies are perhaps the most malevolent. It is uncertain if they are the most dangerous. With so many abnormalities in Cordu, the parasitic elves shouldn't be isolated. Perhaps someone wants to use them to control the Padre. Meet me behind the hill where the administrator's castle is, about 3:30, Lumion said. Will you join me to search for the clues? Of course. Ryan said. Leia, however, called out to Lumion before he left. Is that all? You can tell us what's in the castle, its inhabitants, and Madame Polly's abnormality. We must be prepared. Lumion didn't want to recall that whole situation, but he had to admit that her request made sense. So he had to endure the discomfort and tell them the story. Do you remember which organization specifically had a strong influence in Highlands? Wondering if I have any notes. The organization took shape in the beginning of the 5th epoch after the storms from the Berserk Sea cut off the northern, forming the southern continent's Highland Kingdom and Past Kingdom. Or I'm only talking about it. started taking shape. The organization's origins can be traced back to the Fourth
feel
Epoch.
alright. Just dance with me.
The Rose School of Thought? Is that right?
Turn it out. Close to you. I feel good. 'Cause I just know feeling of you. Give it to me, baby. Feel alright.
My notes seem to suggest it's the
Just want you step
the
with
Rose
me,
School of
dance
Thought.
with me, here with me, feel alright. I feel good, don't you?
Well, Ryan and the others were mentally prepared, but they still looked a little dull upon hearing it. Leia lightened the mood with her laughter. It does not matter to me. I might experience such a thing in the future. This is an opportunity that most men will never encounter. I must cherish it. But Valentine ignored her joke and whispered, all of this needs to be purified. See you in the afternoon. After taking a few steps, Lumion turned around and looked at Ryan and said, did Bertrand have any knowledge of the contents of the telegram? Bertrand was responsible for the telegram, and if he knew about the date and the legend of the elves, it meant the administrator knew too. And if the administrator did, Madame Polly would too. Don't worry, we have a secret code. He won't get it. Lumion breathed a sigh of relief, only then, and left the village square, heading back to his building. As he walked a distance away, he spotted Ava Lizier herding a flock of white geese back home. Hey there, isn't this our spring elf? Lumion tried to push the bloody and cruel scenes from the Lent celebration out of his mind, and greeted Ava with his usual quip. I haven't been chosen yet, Ava said. That won't be a problem. Raymond and I will help you campaign for votes. You don't know? Ava asked. What? Did something happen? That wasn't part of the natural process? Raymond's missing. You don't know? What? In the previous cycle, he and Raymond met almost every day. Back then, they followed the waterside ritual to lift Raymond, who had thrown the last offering and thrown him into the river like all the others in the past. Raymond swam further away and could only return home after leaving the ritual site. In the 2 cycles that followed, Lumion didn't have time to find Raymond. Tommy, what happened? Go do your fucking groceries, dude.
Just want you step with me, dance with me.
Feel alright? How many chapters are we reading today? Holy fuck, I'm on chapter 8 in like less than 2 hours? Fucking speed today is amazing. Holy crap, baskets. And this was something that had never happened. Upon seeing Lumion's expression, Ava's eyes cleared of confusion. You have no idea. Raymond's father might come to ask you where he is. When did he disappear? Could it be that something happened because I didn't follow the historical process of finding him? 2 days ago, Ava said. It said that he didn't return home after leaving the house on the 29th. His family assumed he was at the old tavern or chatting with the Green Watchers. They only started searching for him last night. They suspect Raymond snuck away because he doesn't want to be a shepherd. Do you think I instigated him? Or are they questioning me? The afternoon of the 29th reminded him of the start of the cycle. The last 2 cycles started on the 29th. In other words, Raymond disappeared at the beginning of the cycle. Perhaps no one deliberately changed the course of history because it was too late. Then why is there such a difference? Do you know where Raymond is? Ava asked. I haven't seen him. He began to suspect that Raymond's disappearance had to do with something with being thrown in the river during the last cycle. But it was impossible for Raymond to leave Cordu because of this. That would trigger a loop. After bidding farewell, Lumion forced himself to remain calm. He couldn't be bothered to discuss anything else. If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have completely forgotten about this person. Aurora's countenance turned solemn when she heard this. She donned a simple rose-red dress and paced back and forth. I recollect. that the crux of the Lent waterside ritual is to offer sacrifices to the concept of the water source symbolized by the river. Is it probable that Raymond, who was thrown in the river, was also regarded as a sacrifice and taken by the deity? Subsequently, there was no corresponding tangible reward. The cycle portrayed his absence as a disappearance. It'll trigger a cycle, though, Lumion said. What if it's in the form of a corpse? Aurora asked. Khaled, how's it going, man? Pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, let's go to... fuck it, because we're not even at 2 hours yet. Let's go to 65 and then we'll call it there. Bye, Khaled. No worries. Appreciate you popping by, buddy. Wait, have I not changed the fucking title since forever? Holy shit. I'm on chapter 64. I'm so sorry. Let's aim to finish volume 1 by Sunday. Volume 1 ends around 110, right, I think? Tuesday today. We can get to like 70 tomorrow. Well, it'd be close, because, I mean, we need to do 45 chapters in the next... Fuck me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days. 45 chapters. I'd have to do 9 chapters a day, basically, on average. It's doable. It would be a lot, but it's doable. We get to 68 today. Yeah, I don't know. We'll end at 65 just because I have to... It's snowing a shit ton and I have to go shovel the driveway. No, we'll end on 65. Oops. Lumien's heart sank upon hearing that. If Raymond's bot... What the fuck am I listening to? If Raymond's body had left the loop due to the sacrifice, he wouldn't be able to revive through the loop. Once the abnormality in Cordu was resolved, he'd just be dead. Although Lumien wasn't willing to admit that a foolish chap like Raymond was his friend, they had known each other for almost 5 years. They had played together, pranked together, and seen so much. Recalling the past, he realized that other than Aurora, Raymond was probably the person he'd interacted with most. 109? Yeah, like that's doable. I'm gonna do 65 today, 74 tomorrow, 83, and then just keep going until we end on 100 on Saturday, and then do the volume ending on Sunday. At least we can do that. Man, oh, so by Sunday this fucking time loop's gonna break, eh? Okay, cool. Because like this time loop's is 1 volume for sure. It's no more than that. Didn't Aurora often say that fools are the lucky ones? What is happening? Why? Even if he became a corpse, there will still be a spirit. It would trigger the cycle. Perhaps the entity receiving the sacrifice isn't interested in spirits and only wants the flesh and blood. Perhaps he doesn't want to trigger the loop and only wanted the flesh and blood instead of a spirit, leaving him in Cordu. In that case, Raymond's corpse was equivalent to pure matter without spirituality. He could leave the loop without triggering a reboot. Raymond's mind began to replay what might have just happened. After everyone left the water, Raymond swam further away. Suddenly, an invisible force grabbed his legs, covered his mouth, and dragged him to the depths of the river. He drowned. After that, his spirit would remain at the bottom of the river, be destroyed, his corpse drifting to an unknown place, become a sacrifice. Regardless of whether his spirit is left or destroyed, once the cycle restarts, he will reappear in the form of a ghost. Logically, that's true, Aurora said. After dark, I'll hold a psychic ritual, see if I can find his spirit. It's best if we have something he uses often. What did I jinx? What? What did I jinx? Eh? Come on, I ain't jinx shit. I ain't do fucking shit. After exploring the castle in the afternoon, I'll go to Raymond's place. His parents are looking for him, they're looking for me to ask anyway, but to ask me some questions. When the time came, with his hunter skills and Lumian's vigilance, it wouldn't be hard for him to take something. Okay, Aurora said. Big sis, can you channel spirits? As a mystery prior, I possess knowledge of many things. How did your conversation with the foreigners go? He recounted his discussions with them, but avoided mentioning the entity's prayer. It is perilous to actively resist the corruption, but it's the only way to explore the dream ruins, uncover their secrets, and find the key to break the cycle. I'm sorry, but it will be difficult. What's so terrible? I'm saving myself, Lumian said. Did I say that? That does sound like something I would say, though. Oh my god. I'm gonna splice that together. Oh god. Oh, I got the poor boy killed. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that's so depressing. It is perilous to actively resist corruption. You can use my grey amber perfume, Aurora said. We have lilac at home, and I also have deer musk and candle-making ingredients. You need only tulips. Madame Polly has a garden, but I don't know if it's blooming. It has bloomed, Lumian said. During the last cycle, when he and Aurora visited the castle, they noticed many flowers in the garden had bloomed. Regardless, be careful in the castle. You can only pick a few flowers. Will that woman send those items into the dream ruins for you? Yes, Lumian said, confident. Oh my god, I got him killed. Fucking child. This is so fucked. Son. Aurora then said, I'll give you the integrity brooch before you depart. Madame Polly's castle is filthy and it may involve the undead. It could be handy. Nah, it's fine. Keep it. Protect yourself from Madame Polly. Valentine is a fanatical believer in EBS. According to you as a Beyonder, you would have chosen the Sun Pathway. That'll be more useful than your brooch anyway. How do you think Fours sends things into the dream? I think she probably just opens like a fucking door or whatever, which opens in the dream realm and just drops it there. Don't try and tell me that a fucking angel level fucking traveler can't do that, okay? Because they can. Their godhood is known as door. Yeah, they can open a door to a fucking dream, no problem. That's true. You can practice the simplest way to activate spirit vision. Afterwards, to take a nap at noon to replenish your energy. It seems very likely, Plague, that she's an angel, because she said the name of almost certainly someone who's a fucking great old one and was like, I will create a safe space for it. That's something that we know only angels can do, because like mine was a sequence 3 and Amon was like sequence 3, maybe 3, I think. And Amon was like, "Hey, you want to know about the great old ones?" And like a client started losing his shit. Upon hearing his sister's words, wait, no, hold on. You can practice the simplest way to activate your spirit vision. Afterwards, take a nap at noon to replenish your energy. I'll teach you ancient Hermes and Hermes words required for your ritual tonight. That schedule is tight and the task enormous, Lumion said. If she ends up confirmed as the first Tarot Club angel, I will go broke. I still think it should be Audrey, though. Audrey, the GOAT, should be the first one. Alder's a bum, so he's not doing it. That motherfucker's doing nothing. No, I'm just... I don't know why I hate him so much, but I don't know. But it should be Audrey. You were changing? No. I don't change. I'm not going to change the bet now. That's just shitty. But like, I chose fours because like Klein said like, oh, I'll make you or I'll give you my blessing or whatever. So I chose her. But I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it's Audrey. You're not carrying any weapons, Lumion said. Wait, no, hold on. At 3:20, Lumion... Mr. Azek is the first angel? Wrong. Mr. Fulas, get fucked. Lumion stood on the hills overlooking the administrator's castle when he spotted Madame Polly's approaching the village with her lady maid, Kathy. Madame Polly wore a stunning grayish-blue dress. As soon as they were out of sight, Lumion hurried to the back of the hill where Ryan, Leia, and Valentine were waiting. You're not carrying weapons? Lumion asked. I don't need to carry a weapon with me, Ryan smiled. I don't need weapons either, Valentine said. Leia, on the other hand, pulled out a small silver revolver. This is my weapon. She flipped open the barrel to reveal different colored bullets. They all have different effects. You mean Mr. World? No. I mean Mr. Fool. What weapon did you bring? Leia asked. One of you doesn't need a weapon. The other doesn't need to carry a weapon with him, and one has a good-looking, powerful revolver. I look fucking silly. Lumion revealed a black axe tucked into his belt. You all act like Beyonders, but I'm like a fucking gangster. You do have a talent for self-deprecation, Leia laughed. It's better than being mocked by others, Lumion smiled. Let's climb up now. We can't waste any more time. Okay, Leia said. Leia moved with exceptional agility, and her balance was exceptional. What was even more remarkable was that the 4 silver bells on her person remained motionless and silent. Yo, that's so goated. She like wears the bells to like make everyone hyper aware of her presence, so that when she wants to disappear and she gets rid of that sound, that like social cues goes away. Oh, that's so clever. That's really good. Lumion followed closely behind, using the Hunter Potion to strengthen... hold on. Leia followed closely behind, using the Hunter Potion to strengthen his body and scale the their pathways. Okay. So it said she moves exceptionally quick. So I'm gonna assume these guys are sequence 8s. Maybe one of them is maybe a 7. I doubt they're all 7s. That'd be high. So we need someone at sequence 8 that gets physical stat boosts, because it said she's moving with good balance and agility. Balance and agility. No. She could be a mystery prior, a melee scholar. I assume would have like decent physical stats, I guess. You know the major powers of the country? I don't fucking know. Apothecary, beast tamer, no. Arbiter, sheriff. No, that's held by the Lone Kingdom, so I doubt they have it. Lawyer Barbarian. Maybe lawyer. Maybe she can like change the rules of how like the sound is made by the bell or some bullshit. Maybe that can work. Hunter Provoker doesn't work. Sailor Lord doesn't work. Reader. I don't know what Reader Sequence 8 is. Could theoretically be that, but I doubt it. Criminal, Prisoner, Warrior, Corpse Collector, Sleepless, but that's held by the Evernight Church, not EBS. Marauder, Swindler, Apprentice, Trickmaster, maybe. I'll go with like a Trickmaster, I guess. Mystery Prior or Trickmaster, I guess. Lumion followed closely behind, using the Hunter Potion to strengthen his body and scaling the previously unclimbable hill, although he wasn't as carefree and nimble as his companions. After regaining, other churches have low sequence of pathways not directly corresponding. No, that is... No. I know that technically that's possible, but I'm going with, like, balance of probability, right? After regaining his balance, he glanced back and witnessed Ryan seizing Valentine's shoulder and hoisting him up. In a swift motion, Ryan vaulted onto a jutting boulder amidst the hill. Do a divination to see if you're right. Sure. We'll go with, we'll say Trickmaster. I feel like that's probably the best one. I'm poor right now, so we need to do poor. Oh, fuck's sake. What the fuck? Oh my god, I didn't think I was this poor. Leia is a Trickmaster. Says I'm right. Okay, cool. Alright, dope. No, I literally gave all of my money away, Dr. Z. I also lost some of it, I'm not gonna lie, but I gave most of my money away to our fucking statistic group or whatever in Dara server. Everyone was like poor as fucking. They're like, no, I want to gamble. I just gave them all a shit ton of money. They lost it all, mind you. They're all fucking idiots. Get it back. I'll make it back. It's Ooh. Without hesitation, he sprang forward, delivering Valentine to Lumion in Leia's vicinity. Although the entire endeavor, his physique appeared to have expanded. Lumion was in awe. Although the hill wasn't high, it was still exaggerated to scale with just 2 jumps. Even hunters couldn't do it. After snapping out of his daze, Lumion looked at the castle-shaped door and said, "We'll go around the back door." "Wait," Ryan said. Leia remained silent and strode forward towards the rear entrance of the castle-like structure. Her lips moved soundlessly, muttering something. The next instant, the 4 small silver bells attached to her veil and boots jingled. The sound wasn't deafening, but urgent and intense. Leia pivoted and addressed Lumion. It's a treacherous pass, a grave problem indeed. Wait! No, I'm wrong! Leia said I'll do a divination when she looked at her bells. So she does divinations too. But hold the fuck on. I need someone who can, like, bend the laws of physics, who has good physical stats and does divination? What the fuck? What is she? Because they can't do divinations. Trickmasters can't do divinations. Not good ones, anyway. The fuck am I supposed to get out of Intes? What does this mean to me? Do I know which countries control which pathways? What type? Let me look at it. The secret order is connected to the Intes Republic. Seer would allow her to do divination. If she becomes a clown, that gives her good physical stats too. Hold on. But how do we control the fucking... I wonder if like the jingles are... But then... That doesn't make any sense. How does she control the bells? With that, she took 2 steps forward. We'll likely encounter significant trouble if we attempt to enter through the front, Leia said. What if we climb through a window? Ryan asked. Leia nodded and altered course, making her way to the garden. This route is safe. Lumion, who observed the entire thing, felt bewildered. Is this how Beyonders operate? Divining the danger? Yeah. Maybe she's a seer, I don't know. But I don't get what she does with the bells then. Leia nodded and said, I'll scout ahead. Be prepared. Understood, Valentine said. What preparations? Lumion asked. Prepare to cast divine spells and conjure flames. What the fuck is the point of conjuring flames? Before Lumion could even ask, Leia strolled into the garden and headed to the castle. She arrived at the window and signaled that everything was okay. Let's go, Ryan said. Leia and Valentine and Lumion rather, followed closely behind. As they passed a bed of tulips, Lumion reached out to pluck one, but Ryan stopped him. There's no hurry, we can pick flowers later. If picking it causes some incident, our mission will be compromised. Oh, true. Lumion drew upon his experience as they arrived at the windows. I don't know. It could be Seer, but that seems so fucked up. What's happening with the bells? I don't know. Arbiter. Go with the Arbiter. Fuck it. We'll pick the one thing we know it can't be. It's Arbiter, okay? It literally can't be Arbiter. But we're gonna say Arbiter. No, but it's so fucked up. What the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. What the fuck do you mean it's not new? We've seen someone stop bells from jingling before in Valentine. In Lord of the Mysteries, you fucking show me when. Show me where in the book someone did that. Fuck you. Yeah, but then if we're adding sealed artifacts, then I don't know which of these is caused by sealed artifacts. Does the sealed artifact give her a physical stat boost? Does it allow her to do divinations? Does it allow her to fucking curb laws? Is it like an arbiter thing? Like, I don't, like, there's so many, like, at that point I don't know. At that point it could be anything. Fuck it. The administrator's official residence was originally the castle of the Dariage nobles, with defense being the top priority. The windows were narrow and high up, making the lighting poor even during the day. However, to make it suitable for living, the owner had installed so many new glass windows. Lumion peered through the patterned glass and saw the banquet hall. There are very few servants, Leia sighed. With many open windows during the day, the fresh air mixed with the fragrance of flowers flowed in, creating excellent conditions for Lumion and the others to infiltrate. Taking advantage of the lack of servants on the first floor, the 4 of them climbed into the hall one after another. However, they didn't rush to go deeper, instead finding a hiding spot nearby. Leia turned her head to Valentine, who was clinging close to the ornamental pillar, and said, "I'll scout ahead." "Okay," Valentine said. "There's no need to explore the first floor. It's often used to entertain guests, so there's nothing unusual." Ever since the Administrator Boest and Madame Polly moved in, his sister Aurora would occasionally visit the castle as a guest, to borrow a pony. A few times, Lumion took the opportunity to follow her to freeload on cakes and bread. When the Administrator and Madame Polly were out, he would occasionally look for Louis Lund, the butler, to tour the first floor with him. "I'll head straight to the stairs," Leia said. She didn't attempt to walk in a straight line through the empty banquet hall. Instead, she hugged the wall and circled around the stairs. The 4 bells remained silent. As she passed by one of the rooms, she heard footsteps approaching. Lumion, in a prime position, even caught a glimpse of the male servant in a red shirt and white pants. She had no cover in sight. He was about to see Leia. Leia didn't panic. She turned around, placed her hand on the wall, and scaled the oil painting hanging 2 meters above the ground. Then she stood on her tiptoes and stepped onto the frame. She stood firmly with her back against the wall without letting the oil painting drop. This does seem like some clown shit, though. She looks like a fucking clown right now. In 2 ways. Like, this feels like so overly exaggerated about like her physical abilities. It feels like a clown. Lumion wanted to applaud as it reminded him of an acrobatic performance he saw last year at a circus. Okay, fuck it, I'm calling clown, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with the bells, I guess. I don't fucking know. But I'm calling the clown. The male servant left the room and instinctively looked around before walking to the kitchen. Just as he took a few steps forward, Leia slid soundlessly to the ground against the oil painting. Then she rolled twice forward and hid behind a pillar, and after the male servant disappeared, she leaned against the wall again, arriving at the staircase. Upon seeing this, Lumion darted out of the stone platform and ran in a straight line. He was so fast that he reached Leia in less than 3 seconds. It wasn't the fastest. Ryan completed the journey in the time it took to take a breath. Valentine wasn't exactly slow either. His physique was stronger than most ordinary people. Without another word, Leia took the lead and the 4 of them hurriedly entered the stairs, arriving at the 2nd floor. There were closed rooms on both sides, with 2 rooms having light shining through the windows at the end of the corridor. Let us split up and search different rooms. This will save time and make it easier to hide. However, we must remain no more than 1 room apart from each other, in case something happens and we cannot save each other in time. Everyone nodded. Lumion promptly approached the nearest door, pressing his ear to the door to listen for any movement. He then entered inside. The room belonged to a maid. He searched for a while but didn't discover anything. In this way, the 4 rooms carefully avoided the servants. The 4 of them carefully avoided the servants and explored most of the 2nd floor. Towards the end of the search, Lumion arrived at the door of the room that had traumatized him, Louis' bedroom. According to the historical sequence of events, this butler should have given birth yesterday. His stomach been tore open, and even with sutures, he wouldn't recover quickly. He must be in bed, Lumion thought, contemplating whether to push open the door and chat with Louis. As someone who had experience with Bazaar, this male servant undoubtedly knew a lot. However, this would contradict their principle of observation and exploration, and Lumion couldn't guarantee that Louis wouldn't reveal his presence to the madame. The fact that he'd given birth to the other party's child yesterday meant there were no secrets between them. Is that how that works? Is that how that indeed works? Silencing him would only confirm Madame's suspicion. What a pity. Lumion sighed as he habitually pressed his ear to the door and listened. Nothing. Lumion's hearing was accurate enough as a hunter that he'd be able to detect breathing, even with a barrier in between. No one? Louis just gave birth. Where could he go? Lumion turned the doorknob and pushed the door open. The room was clean and free of any bloodstains. Louis was nowhere to be found. The signs of recent human presence were evident. A blanket rumpled on the bed, a cigarette butt on the nightstand, and a black coat hung on the chair. There were bloodstains on the edge of the bed. Apart from this, Lumion also saw some bloodstains that had been wiped off the edge of the bed. Lumion nodded to himself. He had indeed given birth yesterday. Suddenly, faint voices outside the window caught his attention. He hurried to the glass window and peered out. In the stables, Louis conversed with the carriage driver, Sewell, who had sent the siblings to Paramita. Lumion, who was taken aback by Louis' healthy and steady appearance. He gave birth yesterday? It was a C-section. Can you not have a C-section if it's a guy? Like, what is he supposed to do? I don't want to know the answer to that question. Just ignore it. Lumion suppressed the shock in his heart and listened carefully to what Louis and Sewell were saying. What's the matter? With Lumion inside the door for so long, Ryan, donning a dark bowler hat, pushed open the door and entered. Lumion filled him in on Louis' situation. Ryan pondered before asking, "Have you heard of the Earth Mother?" The Dairy Edge region had no border with Phaenopotter. Shepherds often went there, though. The Dairy Edge region had a border with the Phaenopotter kingdom. Shepherds often went there. Coupled with his sister's education, Lumion was no stranger. Yeah, the deity Phaenopotter believes in. The Earth Mother is associated with fertility, healing, and life, 3 domains reflected in the beyonder powers of the corresponding pathways. While I'm not saying Louis' situation is related to the Earth Mother, it is a possibility to give birth and quickly recover that are linked to these domains. Oh, Lumion found that possible. After all, men were already giving birth. What's so strange about them being out and about after a C-section? God, take my eyes. I don't need them anymore. I don't want to read this shit. What the fuck am I reading? So cringe. Did you find anything? Lumion asked. Ryan shook his head. All the servant quarters were normal. We have to check the 3rd floor. Lumion felt a sense of unease wash over him. Madame Pauline and Administrator Boest's quarters comprised of a bedroom, study, and solarium, and activity room. This posed quite a risk. Very well, Ryan said. The 4 of them proceeded to sneak up to the 3rd floor. Many of the doors were ajar and the corridor lit. Lumion made a beeline for the bedroom, which was adorned by the light-colored velvet blanket on the bed and a small bookshelf stocked with bedtime reading materials. A capacious cloakroom brimming with a variety of clothes, a safe containing perilous collections, and a set of plush beige sofas, a table displaying 5 photo frames or documents. Lumion and company surveyed the room and simultaneously headed to the table. The book on the table was the most popular, including For's Wall's masterpiece, The Adventurer 5, Vice Admiral Ailment, and Aurora's latest work, The Substitute Detective. The document pertained mainly to various matters in the Dairy Edge region. As for the 5 photos, 4 were of the Madame and 1 to a man Lumion didn't recognize. None of the administrator, he thought? Madame Polly was the sole subject of the 4 photos, each depicting her in a different pose and clothing. The male photo was not of the administrator, who was the owner of this house. Weird. Before the administrator's status in this family, perhaps the administrator in this family, perhaps the administrator's status in this family is akin to that of a butler. Have you ever seen a butler's photo in someone's home? And who is this guy? Lumion asked. The frame contained a color photograph of a man in his late 20s, wearing a red shirt, black velvet coat, and dark pants with tassels. He sported a short, lace-up boots and was dressed very fashionably. He bore a striking resemblance to Madame Polly, with light brown eyes, bright brown eyes, and brown hair parted in exaggerated 7-3 style. It's Madame Sharon again. It's Madame Sharon again. We're literally done. There's like 2 more sentences left. Come, it's okay. It's Madame Sharon. It's all over again. It's her. It's her before she changed. Oh my god. So many callbacks. Except she's not hiding it in a fucking safe. She's like out and about, like, oh. All in all, this man's facial features were not extraordinary, but they were pleasing to the eyes. That also makes sense that she was like a relatively okay looking person, and then now as a demoness, she's like very pretty or whatever. Madame Polly's brother? Lumion hazarded a guess? Alright guys, I think we'll Alright guys, I think we'll call it there. Next stream when? Tomorrow, same time, Dr. Z. Alright guys, I'll catch y'all later. Bye.